The Nike Pegasus 39, a shoe that on paper and in historical sense is an excellent daily trainer, but for the second year in a row, I'm unfortunately pretty disappointed with the shoe and will be returning it. So today, we're going to talk about why this is happening. So, before we begin the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed to watching this content, thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of updates, including Tokyo Marathon training and all sorts of other life events. So, without further ado, let's begin. Specs for the shoe are right up here, and we're just going to get right into it. Hopefully this video is not too long, but for those who have been following the channel, you will know two facts, actually. Maybe three, to be honest. One is that the Pegasus 37, the first ever version of the shoe that I bought in 2020, was one of the best daily trainers I've ever owned, and I will fully support that as like one of my top three favorite daily trainers I ever used. I ran it to 400 plus miles to the point where the Air Zoom pod in the shoe was like basically ripping and it was completely visible in the shoe, and that's fact number one as one of the best trainers. And then fact number two, when I bought another Pegasus 37 in a different color scheme, the ultraviolet one with the white color scheme, which I have somewhere over there, but the point is that shoe ended up being a little bit more stiff and it didn't have the same ride that Pegasus 37 had. And we concluded that there was different foams and maybe different rubbers at play, where one was like a gooey rubber and one was like the standard. And there was a lot of things I was trying to explore on that side and I couldn't quite sort it out. Now, third fact here was when the Pegasus 38 came out a year later, I gave the shoe another shot, and the shoe was rated as a little bit lighter than the Pegasus 37, using the same technologies, and what ended up happening is that the shoe had this major issue for me in particular in the left Air Zoom pod of that shoe. And now I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe there was an issue with my foot, maybe there was some sort of deformity in the shoe, with the base insole that was provided from Nike. And what ended up happening was I ended up returning that shoe in like less than 50 miles just because I wasn't enjoying my runs. It was like quite bad. It was feeling like there was a headache in my foot. It was sore at different points, and it was all in this Air Zoom pod up here. So that was kind of my experience with the Peg 38. And now that we have the Peg 39, I was hoping that there would be some retribution from this shoe and the same problem would not persist in this case. And unfortunately, the problem is still there in a not nearly as bad as it was in the Peg 38, but it is still present. And unfortunately, even if it's not like a manufacturing issue, it is a problem during my daily runs when I have other options available to me, number one, and when number two, I need a daily trainer ready to go at any given point, and I don't have the patience or the time to spend trying to adapt into the Pegasus 39. So what I mean by that is that we have other shoes that I can always explore, like a Saucony Endorphin Pro, or the new version of the 1080 from New Balance. Maybe I can continue playing with the Mach 5, for example, or buy a Mach 4 even, because that shoe is great too. The problem is that there's better options than the Pegasus 39 at this period of time, and the time is working against me adapting into this shoe. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some cool innovations in the shoe that I overall enjoyed, such as like having two Air Zoom pods, because you gotta upgrade the shoe in some way. The reason I enjoyed it was, I like that they were using React with the Air Zoom pod, because that's a good technology that I remember in the Peg 37. In the heel, I'm not so sure how it's playing out because, again, I'm not a heel striker, but I know maybe some people may enjoy it or have a nice experience with it, when you strike the ground in that sort of way and you experience a nice rebound from there. But the point there is that, again, there's some cool innovations with it, and like, again, the outsole pattern overall, minus like some of the dirt I have here, is still pretty good, and it's keeping tradition to the Pegasus shoe, but it's not for me at this point in time, which is really unfortunate because I gave the shoe pretty much a third a chance at this point, from my second Peg 37, 38, and now this 39 overall. So again, this would be a great winter running shoe because of how thick the shoe is, and it'll keep your foot warm in those times of, training. And with the shoe being at a 10mm offset, it's able to keep my forefoot and midfoot area more of the striking area, which would be good for something like the Vaporfly Next Percent 2, which would be my racing shoe leading into the Tokyo Marathon training season at this point in time. So, again, I wish I can say some more about the Peg 39, but I will probably add to this. It's a step in the right direction from the 38, but it's just not good enough, at least for me, where the baseline specs for the shoe, including the insole provided, are just not up to standard for me to be able to use this shoe past 100 plus miles. And now, again, I like Nike shoes. I've enjoyed them for a long period of time, and so that being said, I'm not afraid of taking a jab at the shoes. But maybe if you own this shoe currently and you don't have the option to return it, I do have a thought that was once provided to me in the comment section, which was taking this insole out of the shoe, this one, you know, in the shoe down there, if it's not like glued in. Hopefully it's not glued in. That would be really bad if it is. I think I can pull it out, yeah. So the point is, if you take this guy out of your shoe and you replace it with an orthopedic that you're used to using that has a little bit more thickness in this ball of the foot area, you can almost even see it too, how it's like kind of pushed in there. Anyways, if you replace it with an orthopedic you're used to and that you trust and has maybe a little bit more stiffness to it, you can maybe overcome the issue that you're having here with the Air Zoom Pod. And even as I'm looking at it now, you can see the exact area where like the Air Zoom Pod is basically, I wonder if we can get this angle right, maybe. There's a bit of too many shadows, so it's going to be kind of hard to see, but you can see basically where the Air Zoom Pod is kind of just like built in, and it's that exact area that just has the stiffness in there that it's just not enjoyable. So the point there I'm saying is like if you get a stiff insole, you may be able to overcome the issue of this Air Zoom Pod pushing into the ball of your foot or like the central third metatarsal ball area of your foot while you're running in this shoe. So that's probably the only real solution I can provide at this point in time. Otherwise, I imagine the other way to overcome this is to just go with it every single day, just keep powering through with it until the pain goes away. But I would personally not recommend that, only because I've been in scenarios where I've tried to power through pain, and as a result, I've broken metatarsals on my feet, I've broken or stress fractured fibulas. Like, it's not the way you want to go. If there's some sort of pain, just cut the cord, you know, don't push it. So that's basically my take here with, you know, the Nike Pegasus 39, why I'm returning it, and ultimately it was not like an expensive shoe, nor was it cheap, so I'm not really taking a loss for it. In fact, I'll get my money back and I'll be able to, you know, invest in something else, maybe because it's winter, maybe I'll get some gloves for once, because I'm like destroying all my gloves when I run and I lose them and whatnot. So probably a better place to redirect my running training finances in that direction. So I think I'm going to end the video here, so if you agree or disagree or like strongly hate me for jabbing on this shoe, let me know in the comments below. It is what it is. Not everyone's going to love it, not everyone's going to hate it. This is just what running shoes are like, and I just give you my honest opinion based on my experiences with the shoe and how I feel in it. But, you know, that's the best place I can gauge it from is, you know, my experience in the shoe and kind of how I'm, you know, feeling it out. So again, thanks for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.